Hi, so we're going to talk about some preventative talks that you can have with your children to prevent grooming, sexual abuse, and such. So I have a baby doll here. Baby dolls are great conversation tools. We know that we intake a lot of information through playing and being able to process information better through play. And so always having like a tangible object like this is going to take the processing that much farther. What I would suggest, if you do have like a suspicion or a worry, or maybe you're just doing preventative talks, the more your baby looks like the child that you're talking to, the better. Skin tones, hair color, that kind of thing, because they can relate and take information as it is applicable to them. Still, children that are very little will typically not associate situations that you're talking about with them until you start using puppets, dolls, that kind of thing. What I've observed is when I'll read a story about a situation, let's say I saw some friends that weren't sharing and I wanted to address that. Yes, I do address it with the children, but in order to have them really process that internally, I'll do a puppet show, and the puppets will have the same problem and situation that they had. And so they can start to recognize, oh, that happened to me, and they'll start to chime in and know some of the things. And so that helps them really internalize it, process it better, as it is applicable to them, instead of not having like that baby. This is a tangible object that they can relate to. And even though it's filled with stuffing, it's still very real to them, and it is alive. So also the anatomical parts that you want to have, not all babies will, for this purpose, not all babies really you'll find in the stores that have those. Detectives and social workers, they'll typically have possibly dolls with anatomical parts, because that they are definitely dealing with a crisis, and they want to be as accurate as possible. So you don't have to have them. Really depends on how you're going, the level of your talk with your children. This I think is absolutely just fine. He's wearing clothes, his clothes don't come off. And so that's totally fine, because we're not just gonna strip the baby down and talk about it. We're gonna have a talk. So what I would do is some tools, I would be explaining how to take care of a baby. This is how we hold a baby, and we take care of babies by taking care of their bodies and taking care of their safety. And these are the areas that I don't touch, the areas that I can touch, and what that looks like, and who might be okay to do that. And so you're using the baby as you're talking about it, and you might want to have two babies. Maybe the friend that you're talking with has a baby, maybe it's your child, and you have a baby, and that way it can be something that is mimicked and paired. Another really important tip is to use real anatomical names. So we're not giving them names like his flower or her hoo-hoo or anything like that. You need to call it the real names, whether you're talking about a boy's penis. Both girls and boys have nipples, a girl's vagina. We want to use those words. I know they're uncomfortable, but that's what they're called. And in any event that, let's say your child came home and said that somebody touched my butt or something like that. I've heard so many times that things were brought to a case, and the case was thrown out because the child could not name their anatomical parts correctly. And so it's a shame, but please, if you're teaching your children, if you're a teacher in a classroom, always use anatomical parts. Oh, it's really important that that your penis pees in the toilet and not around the toilet, because see all the pee that's getting everywhere. And just like everyday conversations like that, right? We're teaching toiletry. If you are working with early childhood age child, whether it's at home in a classroom, you're teaching teachers, that is a teaching area, is the bathroom. We want to make sure that they're washing their hands. But why are they washing their hands? We have, see a lot of kids that don't want to wash their hands. Oh, but I didn't actually go potty, I just tried. But we're still touching our private parts, which you touched your penis because you had to go potty. Even though the pee-pee didn't come out, you need to wash your hands. And so that makes it healthy and normal for them, and they're hearing it. It's not awkward or inappropriate or anything like that. So those are some tips about how to talk to your child, how to use those tools. And we're going to go into another tip